My name is Don Falk, and I'm the Executive Director of TNDC. And I want to welcome you. I wasn't pausing for applause, but thank you. I want to welcome you to this truly joyous occasion commemorating the completion of the rehab of Civic Center residents. We bought this building in 1981, 30 years ago, and it's been through a couple of partial rehabs before now. But a couple of years ago, this had leaky plumbing, inadequate electrical. There was just one slow elevator and a really dingy little community kitchen. And you can see what a beautiful space it is now. We raised $30 million. Only 20% of that came from our local government, the Mayor's Office of Housing. And it is, in that sense, truly a community effort. We can't do these things alone. So the California Housing Finance Agency came up with earthquake insurance for us. And without this project would not have happened. The Department of Public Health, Human Service Agency are providing subsidies for the 100+ homeless households who are living here. The Federal Home Loan Bank, the Affordable Housing Program, HCD, Housing and Community Development, Enterprise, not to speak of literally hundreds of staff people, all coming together to bring this beautiful project to fruition. And in that sense, this is our model for preserving affordable housing in San Francisco and throughout the country. And for another 30 years, it is going to provide an affordable home for generations of low-income people. And with that, I would like to introduce our mayor, Edwin.
Thank you, Don. Don, it's first of all, it's my personal pleasure to be here in a community that I care very much about and that we know has a history of just struggling to exist. And now to see something that reflects a lot of my values and a lot of the history that I've had with this city, having been an attorney that represented tenants who lived in a lot of rundown places, to now be able to walk into TNDC owned and well-managed place of 212 SROs, that half of which are focused on our homeless and formerly homeless persons. I want to also just recognize the incredible efforts by so many different people who have come together to make this happen. And I know a lot of these people personally, from Lisa Gilfan and her wonderful architectural firm, to Wells Fargo, to our own Mayor's Office of Housing, right up to Dip Doe and her management skills here, along with the Tenderloin Housing Development Corporation, and so many of the entities in between. When Don was describing the entities that came together to forge the $31 million it took, he named some seven different agencies that had to combine itself in all different ways, including our redevelopment, including our Mayors of Housing, including the tax credit equity, including the state. And all of these entities had to work together. And I am so glad that we have a Mayor's Office of Housing that can help with a very reputable community-based agency like TNDC to forge this kind of relationship with everybody. Because it would take this when you're working in a building where you also promise that while the construction is going on and while our goal is to make this building even more seismically safe, when every unit will get a working bathroom, where you'll have accessible showers on every floor, and that people can live here while that's happening. That's an incredible, complex thing to do in the middle, in the heart of our city in Tenderloin. Everybody, you try to do that in any other community, unless you have a tight-knit community, you won't find the kind of trust it takes to make this thing happen positively. And as I walked through this very brief morning to see a couple of units, I passed by some people who live here already. It's all smiles, whether they're in a wheelchair or whether they're with the cane or whether they're just walking freely and they live here, it's with a smile because they know that they've got a great place to be here for a long, long time. The significance of this rehabilitation has other aspects for the city that are welcoming. It seismically upgrades extremely needed affordable housing in the city. And if you know anything about me, you know that one of the passions I have is to make sure we're ready for the next earthquake. And for folks who could not afford to move elsewhere, to feel safer in the building that they were a part of, and then help contribute to making seismically safe, and now earning the ability to have earthquake insurance cover them. We've got a fantastic story to tell here. In addition, it's added 105 units to the whole 10-year End Homeless program that we committed to some years ago. And this helps us achieve over 1,800 units of 3,000 that we've committed to in building for the End Homeless program. And I'm sure people like Anja Alioto help us write that program would be proud to see 100 of these units, over 100 of them, dedicated to that program as well. It helps because these units are not just units by themselves for people. They also have services in support of those individuals. Services from our Department of Public Health and services from our Human Services Agency. Again, signaling the level of collaboration that this building represents. So I think we have a lot to celebrate because not only is it a complex thing to do in a very, very needy community, but it accomplishes so many other goals that the city has articulated are really, really important. And I look forward to many more, Don, with the TNDC. There's a lot more to do. As I walk in and marvel the great amenities in these small units that we have, but units that are very precious in this community, I can only suggest to myself how many hundreds of other residents who would wish to live in decent housing and want to be in a situation like this. And they would want to have a mayor, a board of supervisors, federal and city and state agencies all working together in a less political setting and a more of a community social goal setting where we all can collaborate and put our monies together and work with wonderful banks like the Wells Fargo Bank and others who are contributing as well to the financing of this building, and suggesting that it's not politics that rules the day. It's people with great objectives that put down all the barriers they can, and the biggest barrier is the barrier of poverty, to put that away and to suggest that people can live in decent housing for all their lives, and our city can contribute in a tremendous way to that goal. So I want to thank everybody here, from those that worked together on this, those that had to move the tenants around in this building and keep it placed and safe. And then, while this construction was going on, we had a fire in the Tenderloin a few months ago, and the residents had to have an emergency place for a couple of weeks. You're sitting and standing in the very place that TNDC opened up for those fire victims for a couple of weeks. That again shows the tremendous value and heart that TNDC has in putting this project together and what it means to this community. In every sense of the word, TNDC has again shown its goal, its passion. It is right up there with everything that I represent and love about the city, and I'm so fortunate that I can be here to share this with you and to make sure I acknowledge all of the people that put this together and the people who will run this place. And we need to show more of these examples in the city, how we do it well. So with that, Don, congratulations. Congratulations to everyone here for putting together a fantastic project.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Mayor Lee. Please welcome to the podium Rich Gross from Enterprise Community Partners.
Thanks a lot. I assume you can hear me. I have a pretty loud voice. I was told by 3 different people leading up to this that I should speak for 2 minutes and 2 minutes only. But as you can see from the program, I'm a couple of people down because people aren't here, so they told me I can now speak for 45 minutes. So I wasn't sure what to say. I was trying to think yesterday of what to say at this because I've been to a number of these, and I love everything TNDC does, and I want to try to not repeat myself with these things because it's really hard not to. And there are standard things to say. I can tell you how wonderful Enterprise is. We have over $100 million invested in TNDC projects. We have over $200 million invested in projects in the Tenderloin or south of Market. And we're very proud to be early on investing in these projects and really committed to the work TNDC and other nonprofit groups are doing. And I also always say that TNDC and the nonprofit groups and the project managers are the real heroes in these projects. They are the ones that sweat blood. They are the ones that understand real estate and human services, and are the ones that really, really deserve way more credit than any of us standing up here today. So let me say that as well. But I was reading the newspaper this morning, and there was an article in the paper, and I just thought, okay, that's my chance for a soapbox, so I have to just speak for 2 minutes, starting now, about that. It was an article about Turk Street and the problems on one particular block of Turk, and they mentioned the Dalt Hotel, which is a TNDC project. And the sub-headline, I think, was "City Throws in the Towel," and I have to look at my notes because I want to make sure I get this right. And it mentions the Dalt, I think, 3 times in the article. And what it misses, the author who wrote this column misses the point, as he often does. And it misses the point in a number of ways. One in which the Dalt is 178 affordable units, services on site. It's probably the bright spot on that block. If TNDC had unlimited money, that whole block would be in great shape. The city put in $6 million. Enterprise put in $10 million in the Dalt. It's a fantastic project. It's also adjacent to 2 large projects, the West and the Ambassador, which the city put in, again, tens of millions of dollars into, Enterprise put money into. They're fantastic projects. So the author of that article misses that point and talks about the liquor store on the corner and more police presence. And granted, those are problems, but getting rid of a liquor store and having more police does not solve the problem of poverty, of lack of opportunity, of lack of affordable housing in a city like San Francisco. It doesn't solve the problem of the need for human services for low-income people. And I think that's really the point that needs to come across in projects like this. We have a city of San Francisco, a city that is more committed to affordable housing probably than any city in the country. And it has been for years. We have a redevelopment agency that, despite all of the difficulties with redevelopment agencies, this one is good. This one puts in more money in affordable housing. This one puts in more effort into affordable housing, has some fantastic staff, much different than lots of them. You know, this city has done a lot for affordable housing and human services. We have nonprofit developers in the city that are better than almost any groups in the country. They're more sophisticated. They're doing real estate deals like this one that are more difficult than most other real estate deals. We have innovation, we have skills, we have a commitment in the city. The real problem, the real thing that's missing in this article this morning, and is my soapbox and my pet peeve, is that it's time for the federal government and the state government to step up and to support those kind of things. It's time for them to match resources to the economic crisis we're in. And we could blossom with lots of projects like this, which is what we should do. So that's my soapbox. Thank you, TNDC, for a project like this and for the opportunity for Enterprise to be involved.
Please welcome Supervisor Jane Kim.
Hi, good morning. It's really an honor to serve as a district supervisor for the Tenderloin neighborhood. And one of the things that is the greatest honor is being able to host some of the best nonprofit service providers and affordable housing agencies in the city here in District 6. It's something that I'm very proud of. You know, the mayor's office and the Board of Supervisors works really hard to squeeze every dollar that we can to ensure that organizations like TNDC can do the good work that they're doing to create better equity and more opportunities for the residents of San Francisco. We do a lot of work around the budget, but it's actually the work of organizations like TNDC and others that are actually making the actual difference for the people of San Francisco. Really, really excited about the rehab work that has happened here. I mean, the answer is not just housing that people can afford, but quality housing that people can afford here in the neighborhood. The Tenderloin has long been a haven for our most low-income and poorest residents here in San Francisco. And something that we've seen in the recent census data is that Tenderloin continues to grow in population, continues to grow in density, and is one of the most diverse neighborhoods here in San Francisco, hosting tons of languages and tons of different nationalities and ethnicities here in this neighborhood. Really, I'm looking forward to working with TNDC as they continue to be a pipeline of future affordable housing. As many of you know, our city has a 10-year plan to build 3,000 units for the chronically homeless here in the city. And it's great to know that we are more than halfway there, that we've built 1,809 units here in San Francisco. We still have more to go, but it's with partners such as these that, as Rich has mentioned, some of the more sophisticated and smart developers that we have in the country. Really proud to be serving the city for days like this. So thank you so much to Dawn and to the hardworking staff here at TNDC. We really look forward to continue working with you.
Please welcome Mark Trotz from the Department of Public Health.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here at an event like this. And TNDC has been such a great partner to the health department. And I guess there's a lot of things I love about them, but what I truly value from them is, a lot of people are concerned with the Tenderloin and talk about improved safety and quality of life and improved health for the residents of the Tenderloin, but TNDC is just really there on a day-to-day basis and has been here for a long time. And I can't think of another organization whose work on the ground is actually changing the character of the Tenderloin more than TNDC. I mean, you look at the Ambassador. You took an iconic hotel that was here in the beginning of the AIDS crisis and turned it into how many units? 105 units of gorgeous housing. This building has been here for a long time and just got its probably second or third rebirth and looks beautiful. Shout out to Gelfand Partners for the gorgeous design work that they did. And this project in particular has particular meaning to the health department because essentially 80 of the units, of the 200 plus units, are part of the health department's direct access to housing program, which now has over 1,300 units of housing for chronically homeless. And TNDC early on helped us house 60 chronically homeless seniors in this project. So, another thing about TNDC is whether we have certain bumps in the road or we have any disagreements along the way, they're one of those organizations that when you work with, at the drop of a hat, they'll have lunch with you and sit down and problem solve and come to a solution. And we really value that. And that's the way the collaborative should be. And, I'm certain that TNDC is going to be alive and kicking for a long time because they're a very solid organization. And one final thing, I'm really excited about our future collaboration. The YMCA down the block is going to be 174 new studio units, 100% linked with the health department. We're going to be referring clients, homeless clients with health issues into that project, and we're coupling it with an 11,000 square foot health center down at the ground floor. So to me, this is an extremely innovative project, and TNDC, is a great partner on it. So with that, I just really congratulate TNDC and all the work you've done and all the future collaborations we're going to have. Thank you, Don.
Please welcome Margaret Strand.
Thank you. Wells Fargo is very pleased to be here. Wells Fargo has a commitment to invest in the communities in which it has a presence. This is our headquarters city. Wells Fargo takes significant deposits in San Francisco and therefore wishes to give back to the city. And actually, unlike Rich, everybody who's heard me talk always hears me say that, but it's an important part of why we do our business and how we do our business. We could not invest in San Francisco. We're a financial institution unless we had partners like TNDC to work with. We're, just like all the previous speakers have said, we're incredibly pleased that There's a community organization that really has strong staff that know what they're doing. We feel comfortable with them. They're on a solid ground financially, but more importantly, they also know how to develop these particular types of rehabs, which are very difficult to actually do. Mary Lee alluded to that. They have a very strong population that they manage, and they do that with a great skill set. So we're very pleased to be able to work with them. And I have to say, as Mary Lee mentioned, these projects are all tremendous partnerships of many partners. First of all, this project would never occur unless it were in San Francisco and had the support of the Mayor's Office of Housing and the Redevelopment Agency. I was reminded, because I saw Joel Lipsky, formerly with the Mayor's Office of Housing, how many times they have reached into their pockets and supported this particular building. This has had many infusions of dollars through the years. I agree with Don, they probably aren't going to need it for another 30 years because I think we really did it this time. But also, HCD, a state agency, Cal HFA have been involved, the Federal Home Loan Bank, and NEF, which has also invested in this project as well as many other projects in the Tenderloin. So it's all a partnership. We all have to be community, even in the financial community, to trust each other to do these transactions well. And then finally, I want to say that we were pleased to be involved in this, and I just want to congratulate the tenants who are living here. What a wonderful opportunity to have great housing. So thanks very much.
Please join me in welcoming the wonderful Elijah Glasper, Civic Center resident, tenant, and a TNDC board member.
Okay. Hi, my name is Eli Glasper, and I've been a resident here at TNDC since March 20th. And that was a wonderful day for me because like I had been homeless, and I came here, whereas I was able to network with all the seniors.
The mic right up next to you.
Okay. I talk too much. Anyway, I'm pleased to be here as far as being able to meet with Don Falk, and I'm glad to say that he is one that has been able to enable seniors to get together, and this is a community in which we all has been enjoying ourselves. I'm glad to see that they were able to remodel the place, and it's like, I don't know, I'm pleased. I'm pleased to be a board member, to be able to be a network with the people here, and especially the seniors. Since I've been here, I been with Seniors Organizing Seniors, which is an organization we put together in order to help as many homeless people as we can. I learned some of the skills and what have you from Senior Action Network. I've enjoyed being a part of this group, especially the people here. I want to thank everybody here that participated in helping remodel the place, because it's wonderful to be here now. And it's like I got a roof over my head that's solid. Thank you very much. I'm kind of nervous, but you know. Thank you, Don.
And now please join me in welcoming the project manager of Civic Center residents, Serena Schiller. Hold that close to your mouth.
I know. Wow. So I'm not quite the public speaker, but I'm going to try. I take a lot of notes so that I can keep on my script, because some of you know I'm quite verbose, and I'll just get off script, and we'll be here forever, and I know I'm what's keeping you guys from lunch. Okay, so good afternoon, you all. As the final TNDC project manager to work on CCR, I have the privilege and honor of concluding today's celebratory event. This rehab project has had a very long shelf life, from initial meetings in 2004 to construction completion in late 2010. That's right, over 6 years. And as a result, this project has touched many people's lives in multiple ways. It is with great pride and appreciation that I today work for an organization. I'm not going to get emotional, I promise, but it's really with great pride and appreciation that I today work for an organization with a mission to provide safe and affordable housing. When I was 5 years old, my family was surviving on welfare, and we lived one step away from homelessness. My mother feverishly sought and eventually found us safe and affordable housing. It was this intrinsic step that stabilized my family and allowed for our dreams and aspirations to take root. Nearly 3 decades later, I now have the opportunity to be here to show my gratitude towards an organization like TNDC and to those who contributed to rebuilding CCR. While the big thank you list is quite long, it is very easy for me to identify the group that deserves the biggest thank you today: the residents and on-site staff who lived through the rehab efforts and the efforts of relocation consultant Patty Boyle. As an occupied rehab, in addition to moving multiple times, residents and on-site staff experienced among the following inconveniences, and I'll only name a few: early morning jackhammering, fire alarm testing, roof fumes, planned blackouts, and of course, sharing an old rickety elevator with the subcontractors. Who knew that it could take 15 minutes to ride the elevator just 8 floors? But we all did. But in all seriousness, I want to thank the CCR residents and on-site staff for allowing TNDC to piece by piece transform CCR into the building that it is today. Later on, you'll see the pictures coming up of the TNDC residents. It's a representational snapshot of those residents and staff who were here during the rehab. And upstairs in the lobby, artist Kevin Meinel has installed a permanent art installation as a way to memorialize this building's diversity and history. Next, I would like to thank several others who were very much a part of the long CCR journey. Thank you, Jim Fagler from Gelfand Partners Architects, Gonzalo Castro, our owner's representative, Dory and Paulo Friedman, Nike Borden, Scott Allen, Mandy Grossi, and Leo Marquez from Vineland Construction. And thank you, Emily Lynn, my supervisor, and Diep Do, the Director of Housing Development at TNDC. While working on this project with all of you, I have added 5 new tools to my project manager toolkit. Number 1, always be patient. Number 2, never panic. The problem is really not that bad. Number 3, always trust your team to find the answers. Number 4, try to find humor and irony in every situation. And number 5, which is really quite pertinent to today, is always take time to celebrate the milestones and recognize the achievement and efforts of others. I would also like to take a quick moment to highlight our funders. Without their financial contribution and steadfast support, CCR would not have had the opportunity to be revitalized. Thank you to the City and County of San Francisco, Mayor's Office of Housing, the Redevelopment Agency of San Francisco, Enterprise, our tax credit investor, and who also provided us with a pre-development grant, Wells Fargo Bank, our construction lender, the Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco through its affordable housing program, and Far East National Bank, which is the program's bank sponsor, the California Housing Finance Agency, the State of California Department of Housing and Community Development, and finally, yes, one more, JP Morgan Chase Foundation. Looking out into the audience today, I see a lot of familiar faces, including my fiancés. That was impromptu, totally. Which really, truly warms my heart. I recognize the difficulty in interrupting a workday and taking pause for a moment of recognition and celebration, and I'm so happy this is done. It's just beautiful. So, thank you all for being here today. And thanks to Julie Doherty, where is she? She's somewhere here. And also Janine Chiato, who put together to get today's festivities. And I would like to inform that we have organized 2 self-guided tours. So you can go to Unit 204 upstairs, which is a shower unit. We have 23 of those in the building. And then around the corner, on your way to get in line for the food, we have the lovely courtyard in the back, and you can visit Unit LO5. And thank you so much for being here today, and it really is great. Thank you.
And to conclude, can we give a big round of applause? The easy part of this project is now done. The hard part comes in operating it for the next 3 decades. So can we please put it together for property management and social services staff? Thanks everyone for coming. We're done.